So it's actually quite interesting when you break it down. You break this thing down on a weekly chart and you look at the weekly level. All the stuff we've been looking at for a long time now has just been leading up to this moment of attacking this weekly, which I would even now start to question if it's just trying to attack a monthly level. So yeah, you might see Bitcoin stop at 77.50. Like this might be the level it goes after. So it's actually quite a simplistic chart when you look at it. You know, you can break this thing down to micro time frames the way we do, but when you just apply some of the basic principles, you can actually see it's quite a simplistic chart. Like I said, it's not, you know, overly crazy. It's quite a simplistic chart. Yep, weekly valley, possibly the monthly valley right here, which could bleed over to this weekly right here. There's no reason why I can't bleed up to that weekly. I would then ask myself if this is an inverse level that was hit. It's not a 12-hour. Yeah, one after its inverse level, which is also the monthly. Hold and break levels can't give you all the pieces. Hold and break levels are actually relatively small in the grand scheme of things, but they are extremely important because they give you exact targets and they show you whether something is going to move up or down with respect to, you know, with respect to what else is going on in the charts. But hold and break levels is probably one of the most important stepping stones there is. It forever becomes like the most important foundational piece that you'll use with everything you do from charting from now on. You'll never not mark a break level, or sorry, a hold level like this and say, well, should I enter here? Like for the rest of your trading careers, you'll say, okay, here's a hold level. Should I enter? Like this is now the question that you have every single time. You know, as to before, just marking swing highs and swing lows and entering on these points of failure and success is you know, what fractally is one leg is quite often, you know, what fractally is this leg right here. Right, this fractal leg is actually a hold level from back here, right, which is something inside of this candle. So now it's you have the ability to constantly make the decision, is this the right level to buy? And it's actually the right level, and is this the right level to sell? And it's always going to be the right level. Look for the most significant hold levels is a good place to start to make some money, to start generating income off of this. Just look for the most significant hold levels you can find and start buying them, and just take 5 or 10% moves. Even 10% is a lot of money, but you know, even take 2 or 3% moves to start. You know, max leverage, relatively safe things like what we looked at with Oaks, where Oaks is holding a hold level right now. Things will always bounce off hold levels. It's just how much is the question. Like things will always bounce off hold levels. Like this is only an 8% move, and it's the very bottom and the very top. So if you marked out the right hold level, well, it's actually not hard marking out the right hold level. It's actually quite easy finding the valleys, but it's just not always so easy to know when it's going to stop moving up. So you could have just set, you could just have a general rule of thumb that you follow. You could have a very, off of break and hold levels, like you could actually develop a strategy. You could actually just go across every single chart, mark every single hold level in across all charts that are on the 4 hour. So you could actually mark every single 4 hour untested hold level and just buy the next. You could just buy them in a sequence and have a rule that you make 3% on each trade. Whether they go up 20%, whether they go up 5%, whether they go up 100%, it won't matter. You could actually just buy every single hold level that falls under the criteria that you dictate that you want to trade on. So if it's 4 hour, mark every single 4 hour hold level that's next to come, buy every single one in the sequence that they're hit, and sell for 3% on every single one. And you probably have like a 95% success rate. You probably, out of every 20 coins, 19 would probably succeed as true. but then, okay, so you would say, okay, well, I actually want to make 5% now. So maybe instead of 19 being true, maybe 17 are true or 18 are true, which is fine. You're still making more profit, but then maybe the market is getting stronger. So now the hold levels you're buying are daily hold levels and you're targeting 10% or 11%. Well, then maybe 8 out of 10, maybe 80% success rate, right? Or even 70%. So, right, and then you have to build your own failure criteria. Well, when am I getting out versus how much do I want to make? So you could actually just take every single hold level. You could sit down for a few hours, conceptualize a strategy based on hold levels, and you could probably have like a 95% success rate if you are relatively realistic with targets and say, okay, I want to make 3% or 2% on a trade. Or there could be a target where you're actually successful 100% of the time. And now you basically just designed a bot, but you're just doing the work that a bot would do, right? So you could actually create one of these strategies and almost guarantee yourself. And then you could say, okay, if this is happening, take every coin and compound that against a monthly chart and say, okay, this is estimated to happen 60 times this month and I can make 3% 60 times. What is my, you could actually make a salary off that because you could make a strategy that actually gives you a salary. Like you could get into some pretty interesting, like when you put on like the hat of looking at things algorithmically or for the sake of statistical profits. Like that's how I used to trade when I first started. I used to look at trades as the sake of statistically profitable. What can I do to ensure that I make 1% on every trade, and how many times can I do that in a month? How many times can I recreate this scenario in a month? And then it just becomes a matter of fact of putting the man hours in on the charts, right? So like let's just break this down as dummy as we can and find a hold level and buy it and see if we sold for 3% if it's true. Let's just go to our 4-hour chart, find the levels from the past, pick a random time because we're at all-time lows. Sure, that looks like a good random time. This would have been a hold level right here. Make 3% on this trade. Where is 3%? Come on. Okay, 2.5%. Yeah, perfect. So there's your 2.5%. You could have done that with almost probably every single hold in this chart. Let's just mark out every single hold level you can see. You could have done it right there. Here's the next hold level. Is there 3% to be made? You bought that. There's your 3%, 2.5. So, on a coin like Fund, now your threshold becomes dictated by the sats. So 2.5% is how many sats? You've got 1, 2. So call it 2 sat profit. So even dumb this down. Forget 2.5%. Just call it 2 sats because it's a low sat coin and take 1.6%. How many times? So you take 2 sats every time. Well, is there 2 sats of profit every time it hits a hold level? Yep. Is there 3? Probably. Hey everyone, how's it going? As you know, I'm now giving out some of this content for free that I was otherwise charging for the past little while. Drop a donation, subscribe to the channel, join Patreon. You'll get access to Discord. Great way. Lots of top level traders in there, people who are doing this for a career every single day. So go to Patreon, join a tier, get access to Discord. Go on Reddit, talk about future of trading, talk about the science of trading, talk about cotton candy, socials, everything you can. Let's help this thing grow. It's the way you guys can thank me for giving out this content for free that I was otherwise charging money for. So I'll leave a Bitcoin address on the screen. I'll leave the Patreon address on the screen. Just do something to help out. Okay, thanks guys. Take care.